Oh, come on. So, a short story time about Jazeer Love Sweeney. I say love all the time because that is his official middle name. I got it from his grandmother, and I told my hubby that I feel as though that all of our kids are made from love, so why not end the last one with love? Um, it's gonna be a short story time because, of course, I have 5 kids and they need their mom all times of the day. Hey, get out the garbage. But yeah. So, yes, I do vape because I used to be a heavy smoker, and I don't smoke because I breastfeed, of course, But before I knew I was pregnant, before I wanted to face the facts and go get the test and everything done, I just denied it, kept denying. I was drinking, still smoking, doing what I wanted to do. And my husband was like, "You shouldn't be doing that because you're not too sure if we're gonna keep the baby or not." Mind you, I never had any abortions, never did like Plan B or none of that. Like I said, if you lay down and you do the dirt, you gotta handle the work that comes with it. So I'm a big believer on that. Get off the toilet, poop. Um. So yeah, once I was like you could feel. So I don't know. I felt like I was feeling the flutters in my stomach, and I'm like, "Yo, you feel that?" To my husband, I would go to him and be like, "Look, it's hard on this side. It was definitely a baby. It was definitely Jazeer in there." But I was in denial. So like I said, I was drinking. And I was just like, "Forget it. We're not gonna keep this baby anyway." Long story short, he's here. Like I said, what God intends to be here is gonna be here, whether you want it to or not. It's not about what you want, okay? Even though the Bible says, "Be fruitful and multiply," I said, "Lord, listen, I'm done being fruitful and multiplying." But yeah, so I was in between housing. We had just got kicked out of our house for basically, the landlord said that it was for not taking the garbage out. Mind you, I always take my trash out. I'm not a dirty person at all. Um, Long story short, we found out it was because he wanted to move his family, and now I just got an update on that. He ended up getting to move his mother, his sister, his cousins in. Now he has nobody over there renting from him because of what he did. I would have still been there. I was a tenant there for almost 4 years, and it was a shocker for him to say, I don't want to, rent to you anymore. Whatever. I'm not gonna renew the lease. All right. That had shocked me, and then coming to find out that I was pregnant with our 5th baby and still having a new baby because my son is only 1 right now, the second to youngest. So my mind was everywhere, hormones was everywhere. Then we ended up finding somewhere it became uninhabitable to live in, or whatever. So that was stressful. Then the jobs, they weren't paying enough. So I was going through a lot of stress. They said I was high risk. So I ended up going to get a test done. Um, Once I seen the baby, it was a wrap. Once you see your baby on an ultrasound or whatever, you just fall in love. So I was crying, I was bawling, I was, of course, overwhelmed with many emotions. Um, so at that point, I knew, hey, we're gonna be giving birth again soon. And so from that point on, we set an appointment, and my doctor's like, hey, um, your baby may have Down syndrome for what we see. Your baby may have one of the lungs look like they're smaller than the other. So me, I'm not. They consider it being rude. Me, I said, hey, like I cut them off, and I'm like, well, we're early on. We were at this point. I was probably like 20 weeks, and I'm like, you don't know who God is. I know who my God is. I'm a strong believer in the Lord. My faith is always on 100 when it comes to God, and I already know what it's going to be is going to be. So I knew he was going to be fine and healthy, and it was going to be a normal labor and delivery like usual. But having that being said, I was a little scared, so I prayed on it like I always do. Whether I'm scared or not, I'm going to pray. One thing about me is I'm going to pray. Okay. So I had my faith. I went, me and my husband, we talked about it, and I'm like, look, I don't know what's going on, because even before then, with my last son, they tried to say his collarbone was broken, but they tried to sneakily say it and hide it. So I asked the lady, I'm like, hey, what's going on? This is the 3rd doctor that has come in the room and is checking the same spot as my baby that the other 2 checked, and they're not saying anything. She's like, oh, well, she thought his collarbone was broken. I'm like, well, is it? He's not screaming. I feel like he would be screaming if you had a broken collarbone. So, he didn't. Long story short, like I said, I know. And When I went to the doctor this time, I wasn't beat. I really wasn't beat, so I wasn't going to none of my appointments. I literally slacked on this when I was bedbound, but I couldn't move. Like, even before, how I told some people afterwards, the healing process was very, very heavy on me. This was the last. I mean, this is how I know this is the last one. That healing process was very bad. As you can see, the postpartum, look, guys, the belly is basically gone. The snapback is real. I was using my belly band. I don't have it on right now. We'll do a video of an update later. But again, this was weighing really heavy on me. And then even then, I'm like, can I still get an abortion? I don't believe in abortions at all. I'm fully against them. No hate to anyone who has had any. I don't feel any kind of way towards anyone who went about them and got them. I'm just saying this is me, my opinion, and myself, and what I don't believe in. So a little further on from 20 weeks, I had no prenatal care. I was taking no vitamins. I was literally like kind of stressed, depressed, and just stuck in the block because I'm like, here I am. I'm about to have a fifth kid. We're not even stable. We just got kicked out of our apartment unexpectedly. Mind you, we had paid him money. We had paid him rent. After we gave him the rent, then he was like, okay, guys, I don't want to renew your lease, yada, yada, about it. I'm like, oh, okay. I was kind of pissed off because I could have used that for something else, but it is what it is. And God knew what was going to happen and what was supposed to happen. But anyway, so it was basically a fight with myself. I would go to my husband like, "What do you think we should do?" He's like, "Well, we're getting further, and he knows I don't do abortions. I don't like none of that stuff, because once you're pregnant, look, you did it. You laid down and you got busy. Now it's time to take care of this baby." But I thank God for Jazeer Love Sweeney because he has just showed me so much more, like, about myself. And I sometimes, maybe a lot of times, I just stare at him and I'll bust out crying. It's just like, I can't believe I even had a thought of wanting to get rid of this beautiful child that God has blessed me with, knowing that I have friends or people on a personal level who can conceive or who has tried to conceive on many different occasions and have failed. So it wasn't really for them, but for me too on a personal level. Like, you were literally going to just, trash a life, a whole life. And like I said, he was like 20 weeks. I was 20 weeks, so yeah, he was. But yeah, it was a very emotional roller coaster. Like, even now, I just pray and I just thank God for showing me that, he was meant to be here. God already knew that, hey, this is what you're doing. Me, I was being a little selfish because I'm like, I'm not going into labor again. Labor is very scary, very painful. I don't do pain medicine. I can't handle an epidural. So I know for a fact that I'm not having another baby. God knew for a fact that, hey, you're going to have this baby. So, yeah, my doctors, they try to scare me and say, hey, you haven't been to any of your visits. I'm like, yeah, I'm bedbound. I'm not getting up. I'm not coming in. My eyelash is coming off. This is the real mom life, okay? So my eye's not lazy. It's just the eyelash. But yeah, so I'm like, I couldn't. Sometimes I was sick. Other times walking during this pregnancy, walking was very, very harmful to me. It hurt bad. My husband would have to walk me to the bathroom. I used to have a chair to sit in the shower. But as you can see, I made it through the pregnancy. Now I'm back to mommy. And yeah, the hormones, like I said, the hormones, they get crazy. But I'm just happy that I didn't, I didn't get no abortion. I did the natural labor, even though I held my baby in for 10 minutes when I was ready to push. I was so scared this time. And my doctor's like, what you mean you're scared? You're a trooper. You did this 4 times with no epidural, no pain meds whatsoever. So when she went to check me, because we had went to a hotel, we wanted to relax and just, vibe and kick back. As soon as we got ready to get in the bed, mind you, I had took a shower for like 30 minutes with my youngest. I do shower with my babies. It's bonding for me and I enjoy it very much. So I had my second to youngest in the shower with me with the baby in the belly. He's sitting on my belly. We're there for at least 30 minutes. Get out the shower. I'm like, this is the night that Jazeer is going to be born. I knew it. So I go to lay down. Then I'm in the bed with my husband. About to go to sleep. I'm like, all right, let's just go to sleep. Whatever. Let's just lay down. So as we're laying down, I'm getting these pains. Then once I'm on the toilet and I keep peeing and I'm like, Nah, I'm in labor. So I'll start packing the stuff up out the room. We start packing the stuff up. We drive to the hospital, drop the kids off at his mother's house. Mind you, it's like 11 o'clock at night. So we get there like 11:30. Then we got to rush all the way back to the hospital. It's like 25 minutes away. End up going to the wrong hospital. They're like, yeah, this isn't the hospital that you usually give birth at, but we'll take you. And I'm like, of course you will. But dang, I wanted the other one because now I got to re-give them all my information. They was like, no, you don't. Faxed everything over. So I go into labor. She's like, well, let me check you. She goes to check. I felt her touch my baby's head. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not getting to go home tonight. Like, this is really about to happen one more time. So I ended up, she's like, do you want to lay down? I wanted to stand up and give labor, but I was in so much pain. So what I did was they like sat the bed up to like a chair kind of. It was like this and down. So my knees was on this part and I was leaned over and my husband was right there. Then I had a doctor here. I had what is she called? I forget what they're called. Not a maid, but one of the doctors that you can have on call. She was talking to me and encouraging me. She was very, very helpful. I really appreciate her. She was like the bomb. So she was talking to me, then my husband was on this side. Then I had another doctor. She was massaging my lower back. I almost went to sleep. It was feeling so good. But so I leaned over to see, and then she's like, what are you waiting for? All you have to do is push. Then we sat there for like a good 10 minutes. She's like, he's ready to come out. Whenever you're ready to push is when he'll come down. So then I start crying and getting emotional because I'm like, oh my gosh, he's waiting for me. I don't know if I could be damaging him or whatever. Then, like 3 minutes in, they're like, hey, your baby's heart rate is going down. Do you hear that beep? And it went from regular to like, doop, doop. So then I start freaking out. And then my husband's like, you need to push or we're going to lose our baby. So I turned around, bossed up. I faked it a couple times and did one of those. I wasn't pushing. I just was trying to prepare myself because when I say I was scared this time. I did not want to feel the pain of the head going through the crotch. So then the last time I was just like, forget it. Like head curled, held on to the top, pushed down. Whew. Pushed down. You felt that first thing. Once I pushed and my water was like, psh. Then once I started pushing again, that's when the head was, I call it like the head being the opening of the crotch, like the head right there. Oh, what I say is the worst pain in the world. It's the worst pain in the mother loving world. So once I pushed the second time, first the water came out, the first push. Second time, baby, head's right there. Then she's like, oh my gosh, the baby's right there. Mind you, you could feel the pain. So all you want to do is go back in for another push. So what I did was go back in for another push. And it was just like I pushed with everything. Head popped out. Then I had to do one more. Whew, pushed it. Baby just slides right out like water. Baby came out. He came out. I stayed over the thing for a minute. I didn't even turn around. They had to bring my baby back up under me so that I could see him. Like, I was in so much pain, I couldn't turn around. But me, I always bleed heavy, so I started bleeding very heavy. It was like a crime scene. So then I had to turn around. Finally, like, hey, you got to turn around. This is what I never had to take is my thing. These 4 pills. They made me put 2 over here and 2 over here. They said I found out it was for bleeding. They was like, don't swallow it. It will intense the side effects, and you'll be messed up. Just let it dissolve on the side. Mind you, I think I ended up swallowing one. So I started feeling like a crackhead. I went into the shakes. So first it was all sweet and, oh, babe, get pictures, daddy-da, I'm still in pain, you know, the normal thing. So I felt my baby for a second. Then I'm like, oh my gosh, babe, hold him. Then my body just, like my whole body started freezing. Like I was dying. So I start crying and praying to the Lord. I'm like, Lord, don't let me die like this. You know, I really thought I was going to die. And the doctors were sitting there, they're like, oh no, it's normal. When I say my body started shaking, like I started hitting the Harlem Shake on the chair. Mind you, I had messed up my tongue so bad, I kept biting my tongue. Every time I went to talk, then I couldn't talk. It was like this, and then I would just keep biting my tongue. I was biting my lips, so I just stopped talking. Then I became very thirsty. Then my baby's over here crying. I can't move because I feel like I'm dead and I'm about to pass out. So then I start having a panic anxiety attack on top of this. This was the wildest birth. Like, seriously. Get up and relax. Get up, walk. So I was like, you know what? I had the shakes for like an hour. They had gave me literally 15 blankets, and I was still freezing. It was crazy. They had to wrap me up. Anytime they came to check my belly, they had to unwrap me like 20 times. Soon as I felt the wind hit my skin or air, I was like back to shaking. So the shakes didn't go away until the next day. I was like, thank you, God. I really thought I was gonna die. It was so scary. So this is why I'm not having another baby. And this is my story of Jazeer Love Sweeney, and I'm so happy that he's here today. Like, he's the most, put it back, he's the most beautiful last little blessing God could have ever blessed us with. Stay tuned for another story. I love you guys. Thanks for supporting me. Woo, woo, and showing out. Okay, we're off this.